Hello, I'm Miss Bradley. I am your student's IB Analysis and Approaches teacher. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can go through how to access stuff on my website. So if you go to my website, if you see there's an Analysis and Approaches SL tab, and then I have my syllabus under the syllabus part. You can access the common syllabus, which Dr. Kersey should have gone over with you guys. And then I also have the syllabus specific to analysis and approaches in there. On that syllabus, it has my room number, it has my email address. If you ever want to get into contact me, email is a great way to do that. If you prefer to have over the phone conversations, you need to email me first and we can set up a time for us to have that phone conference. On my syllabus, you can also get to my website. I have a copy of the URL on there. Just a little overview about the course. This is IB Analysis and Approaches. It is actually a 2-year SL course. So this year we're going to be covering algebra, functions, statistics, geometry, and trig. Next year they're going to be doing the IA. They're going to do more functions and calculus. Because this is year 1, they are completing the IA and they're doing the exam next year in year 2. So that's not something they really need to worry about this year. They just need to worry about studying and making sure they understand these topics very well. I will introduce the IA next semester so that they are able to brainstorm ideas and get started on that process. The objectives, I have a hyperlink to the objectives, or if you go on my website, underneath the common syllabus and the class syllabus, I have that on there for you guys. This has both SL classes, so you have to scroll down to analysis. The first one is applications, and then you have to scroll down to analysis. No, that's still applications. You have to scroll down to analysis and approaches to get those topics that we're covering. Because this is SL, we're only covering the SL topics. HL is another class that goes a little bit more in depth. But if you want to see specifically what they're learning in each content area, like statistics, algebra, this is a good place to look. It's also a great resource for your students. They can always go through this and see, okay, what do I actually need to know? What do I not know? What do I need to study? Okay, so let's go back to the syllabus. So for URL, we only have 2 grading categories. We have summative assessments and final exam. The summative assessment is tests and quizzes. It's worth 80%. Quizzes are weighted 1%. Tests are weighted 2%, which means tests in this category are worth double what the quizzes are. Dr. Kersey probably went over this in the other meeting, but just in case you missed it, students will be able to exempt the final exam if they've completed all their summative assessments and they're passing the class. So if they meet both of those, they can exempt the final exam, and then it would just be summative grades 100%. Some materials that they need their laptop or another device in order for them to access this during URL. They need a notebook, paper, pencil, so they can take notes. They absolutely have to have some kind of graphing calculator. I highly recommend them having a TI-84 because that's the calculator I'm most familiar with. So when I'm explaining stuff, I'm going to be explaining on the TI-84. If they don't, I will work with them and try to figure out how to make it work on other types of graphing calculators, but that's the one I'm the best at. I also recommend them maybe getting graphing paper because we are going to be graphing with functions and other topics we talk about this semester, next semester. And then finally, I highly recommend they print out the IB equation booklet. It's located on my OneNote that they have access to, and this is the equation booklet they will have access to on the IB exam. So I think it's a great way for them to get used to reading through that and so they have an idea of what equations will be provided for them and what they actually need to memorize. And then we have expectations. As far as expectations go, it's what you'd expect. They need to be respectful of themselves and others. They need to be prepared for class. They need to be participate, and they need to be keeping up with their assignments. My help sessions is every Tuesday before and after school. If they can't meet on those days, they can set up another appointment with me via email. Or eventually when we go back, they can also talk to me about that in class. Anything else should be in the common syllabus. If you have questions about my syllabus or the common syllabus, feel free to send that. And I'm going to put a forms on my website. You can click on the forms and there's a questionnaire that you can ask me questions that I can get back to you on. Okay. And then also under analysis and approaches SL, there's the course calendar. I post this every unit. So if we look, I have unit 1 up here. I'm going to post unit 2. You should be able to see unit 2 by the time of curriculum night. And then we also have this calendar that says when AP and IB classes are allowed to give extra work after the school day. This is for URL because under URL guidelines, we're supposed to be doing everything during the class period, all the work during the class period. But because AP and IB are a little more challenging for students, they do need that extra support and that extra work. So this is a math class. Our days are the B days. So just in case no one explained this, that's what this calendar is telling when they're doing that extra work. Okay, and then the last thing with analysis and approaches, if you click on it, I have my recovery documents up there. Oh, I'll fix that. That's my syllabus. But when they are doing test or quiz recovery, the form, again, I need to fix this, but it'll be up there by the time of curriculum night. There's a form that they need to fill out and to let me know that they want to do that recovery. In the form, it tells them what they need to do to be eligible for recovery. And I'll also tell them in class, like remind them, okay, if you want to do recovery, please send me an email so I know you want to do recovery. I highly recommend if your student is eligible for recovery to go ahead and do it so that they're able to get a better grade and it won't affect their final grade in the class as much as what their failing grade would have affected it. Okay, some helpful skills, again, like taking opportunities like recovery, attending help sessions if they need help. I highly recommend asking lots of questions. Anytime something doesn't make sense to your student, they should be asking me questions so that they know the information. In math classes, information really builds on each other. So if they don't get it one day, the next day it's going to be even hard to understand what's going on. And then advice for you, I would recommend checking Infinite Campus on maybe a weekly basis. I post the formative grades every week so that you can see, okay, is my student actually doing the work? If they're not, I recommend encouraging them to go back and do that work. If they are, great. And if their grades are still low, I would recommend that they come in for help sessions. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. And again, I'm going to have a form on my website so you guys can fill that out with questions that you might have. I look forward to teaching your students, and we're going to have a great year. Have a great evening.